Hello folks, this is Wolfen from Wolfen Gaming. Hopefully you're all having a great day. This is my first attempt at my first real attempt at video content creating, and I decided to do it with my class that I am the best at, that I've been doing the longest. I've been playing a druid since vanilla, and maybe off and on I have varied and I've tried to go to another class. But every expansion, I might try something else. I always come back to Druid. But this is going to be the Casual's Guide to Guardian Druid. So what is this video going to be about? I'm not going to go in depth on anything. There's other people out there that do other videos that go more in depth. But because they go more in depth, it's more... You can start, if you don't know the basics, your eyes will start glossing over. So this video is to basically get you into the world of the Druid, and I'll be doing videos for every class and every spec. But this is for the Guardian Druid. This is to get you into the Guardian Druid, help you with the basics. You probably already know most of this stuff. I'm hoping that I help with maybe some stuff you didn't know. But that's what this video is mostly going to be about. These series of videos are going to be about is helping you learn the basics of the Guardian Druid and other classes and specs. So then you can take that info, play with it, learn things on your own, and then hit some of these other videos out there that go more in depth to help you get better if you choose to become better. For 90-95% of us, we're casuals. We're casual players. We might know a little bit more than others. Some of you might say that you know more than others, especially if you're in a dungeon and you're the dungeon god or you're the PvP god, and it's everyone else's mistakes that are causing us to wipe or lose or whatever. But 90-95% of the players on WoW are casuals. Then you've got the other percentages that are doing the Mythic 15 keys, the Mythic rating, the 2400 rating arenas. That's another group. This is for the casuals. So why do a Guardian Druid? One, you want to survive. Guardian Druid, out of all of my classes that I play, and I've got tons of alts. I mean, here's my list. So right now I've got 560s. I'm working on my rogues currently. I've got classes for Alliance and Horde. I've got every race up to 50 except for I think 2. And for some reason I don't know how I did that. But for all of those, Druid has always been one of my favorite, or actually Druid is my favorite, and Guardian Druid is one of the more fun I have leveling and doing world quests and things like that than any of the others. Paladin's not bad because it's got healing. As a casual solo player, which honestly is most of the time how I play, I like Guardian because I can take a lot of damage, I can pull a lot of mobs, and I can usually come out of my fights at 90 or better % of my health. And then I've got heals to help me if I need to heal myself up real quick. Other tank classes aren't bad at that. For me, I find Guardian, I have more fun with Guardian doing that. There are tank specs I actually enjoy playing maybe a little bit more, but the problem with them is that unlike Druid, they've only got a couple other specs that they can go into. With Druid, I can do whatever I want. If I want to be a rogue class for the day, I can go into Feral. If I want to be a mage for the day, I can play balance. If I want to be a healer for the day, I can go resto. Druid is perfect for this. And it's different now than it was back in vanilla and TBC and all that, where Druid was, I would say, a more advanced class, because we had to worry about so many different stats for Druid. If you wanted to be resto, you had to worry about your spirit, your intellect, things like that. If you were balanced, you had to worry about these stats. If you were feral, well, not feral, because there wasn't feral. Guardian and feral were together. But depending on how you played, you had to have different stats. If you wanted to be the more bearish, you needed more strength. If you wanted to be more cat, you needed more agility. Thankfully, that's all gone. Now it's either agility or intellect as our main stats, and then everything else below that. For Guardian, though, it's even another better step, because the only stat we really care after agility is versatility. I mean, we care about mastery and haste and crit and all that, but versatility is king for us as far as secondary stats go. And that's for PvE and PvP, which is beautiful. We don't have to worry about anything else. Boom, that's it. But where I pull a lot of my info from is Wowhead and Icy Veins, and then just me playing since vanilla. So I have my own opinions on this stuff, but it goes decently hand in hand. I have a little different ways I like to play, so I might choose different talents and things like that. But for the most part, I play it's the same way as most Guardian Druids. Discord channels, Cenarian Circle and Dream Grove are actually two Discord channels that if you want to try those out. But Druids in a nutshell, just an overall Druids, we're jack of all trades. We can do a little bit of everything. We might not be the best at everything, but we can do everything. And even at this time, though, and that's between expansion and patches, that will change. Because Resto and Balance right now are pretty darn good on both. PvE and PvP. So, I don't think Guardian... Actually, I know Guardian is not the top tank right now, but for a casual, it doesn't matter. We can do it. We can do it just fine and not have any problems. But embrace the fact that you can do everything. If I had to tell someone, coming new into the game, what class they should play to start, I would almost always point them towards a Druid. I mean, I would ask them questions on, if you're reading books, reading fantasy books and stuff like that, what kind of characters are you drawn towards? Or if you play like D&D and things like that. And then I would honestly steer them towards those classes. But if they really have no idea, I would steer them towards a Druid. Because out of the Druid, they can go in any direction they want and be covered, which is beautiful. I keep wanting my wife to try... I keep trying to talk my wife into to play a Druid. Because she currently plays a Warlock. She likes pet classes. So she has a Warlock, she has a Hunter. So that's her thing. But I'll hear her complain, and I'm just like, you could fix that if you played a Druid. Because, she gets not mad, but the fact that, I play, when I level or quest, I usually am in Guardian form. But I can go into Cat and Prowl and get by all these mobs. I don't have to fight them. I don't have to worry about pulling all this stuff while I'm trying to get to my objective. I just stealth and go through. It's freaking awesome. But she'll get upset about it, and I'm like, that's why I keep telling you how to try a Druid. It's like, just try it. I think you'll enjoy it. So, but yeah. Let's see. I think I already went over the weapons. We don't care about weapons. I mean, weapons are totally a stat gain for us. It doesn't matter their speed, doesn't matter how much damage they do. It's whatever has the best stats on. Like if you're missing out on haste and crit or haste and mastery, you know, because your versatility and agility are up there already, then pick a weapon that's got those stats on it. It doesn't matter. That's another nice thing about druids is we don't care about the weapons. They're just a stat thing. They're just a piece of gear. So when you're starting out, I highly suggest when you're starting out leveling and you're totally new to the druid, try to pick more passives from the talent tree than active abilities. And then slowly but gradually add in the one or two active ones that you want to add in. Because you already got a lot of abilities, especially because you've got so many different forms. I mean, even though you're a Guardian Druid, you're going to go into Cat, and you're going to be normal to heal off and on. So you're going to have a lot of your bars filled up. So adding in active abilities also, and trying to find places on their bars for them to keybind and things like that can be overwhelming, especially for a totally new player. So I would highly suggest going passives, and we'll go into talents in a little bit. But so there's that. So let's go a little bit into the races. So let me turn off my camera here, so you guys don't have to be watching that. Plus, also, it's just the camera takes up some of this. So the first druid for Alliance was the Night Elf. We didn't get another druid for Alliance until Kata. Same for Horde. Horde didn't get another druid until Kata also, as far as race goes. But Night Elf was perfectly fine for Vanilla, was perfectly fine for TBC, Burning Crusade, and for Wrath of the Lich King. Perfectly fine. He can be a Guardian Druid, no problem, no questions asked. As a casual player, play what you want. Whatever race that a Druid can be that appeals to you aesthetically, lore-wise, play it. It doesn't matter. They all work. It only really comes into play as far as what race you pick. The higher tiers of PvP and maybe the higher tiers in PvE, like mythic rating, high mythic keys, for dungeons. But for the most part, for most of us, it doesn't matter. Just play what you want. Play what's appealing to you. For the longest time, I was actually a Tauren Druid. I started off on WoW as Alliance because that's what some of our players wanted to be, and they really wouldn't go Horde. So I was like, okay, fine, we'll go Alliance. Druid also wasn't my first class. Druid was my third class. My first class was actually a Gnome Mage that I got to 6. Well, actually, no, I'll take it back. First class was a Dwarf Hunter, which I learned that I really didn't like pet classes. And at that time, I really didn't want to. I really hated having to deal with the ammo thing. But my first 60 was a Gnome Mage. My second 60 was my Alliance Druid. Then the RP PvP servers came out, and none of our wives wanted to go to a PvP server, but we were like, well, we're going. And we kind of played 2 servers for the longest time, but for the most part, we went over to Maelstrom, and I was a Tauren Druid. So, but Night Elves were the first Druids for Alliance. Perfectly fine. They don't bring anything really to the Guardian game, so, but they'll work. They're perfectly fine. Play what you want. Our second Druid came in Kata, so I don't know why this keeps changing. So, for the longest time, well, since Draenor, my Druid has been a Worgen. Mainly because my wife, when she started playing in Draenor, and she wanted to be a Worgen Warlock. So I changed my Druid over to a Worgen so we could be that cute couple that both had Worgens. So yes, we were that couple. But yeah, so for the longest time, and really I only changed him. I changed my main to a Night Elf just recently. And I'll be honest, I've changed my main Druid 3 times because he's been Worgen, he's been Kultaran, he's been Night Elf. So yeah. Our third Druid for Alliance is Kultaran. Out of all the Druids, if you really care about what's the best race, Kultaran's probably going to be it. Mainly because of the increased versatility and heal a portion of damage you take. Is just better. Because there's nothing out of the stat stuff that really gives an advantage to the other two. Versatility is king for druids, for Guardian Druids. And so, yeah, so it's going to be. Is it that big of a difference where you go, oh, I need to be this or that? No. Now, if you're up in, like, if you look at, like, PvP leaderboards and you look at some of the mythic rating groups, you'll see that maybe Kultaran is being used way more than the other races as far as the Alliance side goes. But we're not at that level, and most of us don't want to be at that level, so don't worry about it. Play with who you want. But if it does kind of matter, and you kind of want that little extra edge that you don't have to work for, that you can just pick, then yeah, Kultaran Guardian is a very good choice. So now let's go over to Horde. So Horde, you got Tauren. That was our first until Kata. Stomp is nice, especially in PvP, because it's a radius effect. Increased stamina, always good, more health. Then we've got Troll. For Guardian, actually, Berserk is actually a nice ability. The regeneration is kind of nice just because of in between battles, being able to getting your health back. The other things, whatever. They're not anything to go, oh, I gotta have this for a Guardian Druid. Our third was High Mountain Tarn, which we got in Legion. So out of all the races, High Mountain's probably the top choice for Guardian Druid if you look at like PvP leaderboard and stuff like that. Mainly for the same reason, the increased versatility. It just is. Every little bit helps, especially on those higher tiers. But from the casual perspective, it's another one of those things of, if you want a little bit of an edge without having to work for it, just because you pick it, this would be one of the reasons why. Zandalari, you get to, beseech Aloha. The regenerate is a active talent, so it's not like the trolls, which just always is going on. And that's on a 2 or 3 minute timer, I think. So it's not even on a short timer. The more gold's nice. So, but there's nothing on there that is, ooh, this would put me above anyone else as far as Guardian Druids go. So that is the races that you choose from. But for Guardian Druid, if you had to pick tier-wise for Horde, would probably be High Mountain Tauren, then Trolls because of Berserking, then Tauren because of Stamina, then Zandalari after that. Over on this side, for Alliance, Kultaran would be that, and then honestly, it's really a toss-up between these two. There's not a maybe Night Elf, just because of the more difficult to hit, but I'm not really sure. I haven't ran stats to see actually how much that really matters, but it is what it is. So, like in the beginning, like in Vanilla and all that, this was the Night Elves. This was the answer to the Tauren's more stamina. Was they've got more stamina, but they get hit less. So that was the give and take of those two. All right, so Guardians. Let's go back here. Let's pull up Draj. And let's go in here. Let me bring it back up the camera a little bit here. So because I don't think anything's really going to... I don't think the camera's going to hide anything. I wanted to take the camera off just when I was showing that one part, just because of that. Because I knew it was going to hide the talents. So... But yeah, but like one of the things I was talking about with the Guardian Druid is leveling is very nice as Guardian, just because you can pull stuff. I think I died with... I've got 2 of my Druids now at 60. And I think out of the 2, other than dying from World PvP, they might have died 2 times maybe. And that was just pulling way too much stuff. So, and I'm not even sure if they died 2 times, to be totally honest. So here we go with this. So talents. While you're leveling, what I would suggest, like 1, pick mostly passives. So Brambles is definitely nice. Wild Charge is not a passive, but neither are any of these. Wild Charge, I think, for bang for buck, it just gives you another charge and another immobilizing thing. So it's not an interrupt, but it does immobilize. Which is nice for PvP if someone's running away from you and you're leveling up. So Wild Charge is nice. Resto Affinity, I would definitely pick while you're leveling. And if you're mostly going to be concerned with PvE, definitely go Resto. If you're thinking of doing a little bit more Guardian with Guardian for PvP, I might switch that to Feral Affinity, just because it will let you bounce back and forth between bear and cat, so you can throw out a little bit more damage because you'll have Rake, Rip, and Maim added to your stuff, and your energy regeneration is increased by 35%. So that will help you. Or Resto is just perfectly fine. A lot you'll see, Wildhead and Icy Veins both suggest you go to Heart of the Wild. I'll be honest, I never freaking used it while leveling. I just never did. I use Mighty Bash all the freaking time. Especially like with casters and things. I can bash a caster, interrupt them. It just gave me 1 more interrupt on a caster. And sometimes that comes into play, because you'll end up having... So you're in bear form, especially like, let's say you're doing Torghast or something like that, and you run into one of the caster bosses. Something of death, but he has this drains you, gives basically a leech ability, and it comes up a lot. So this is just 1 more interrupt on him, because you'll be using your Skull Bash, you'll use Incapacitating Roar, and you'll use that. That gives you 3 interrupts on them. So yeah, I would definitely take Mighty Bash over Heart of the Wild. And what I normally try to do, and what I usually hope for, like especially if you're doing Torghast, is you hope for that drop that gives you Heart of the Wild. So then you get Heart of the Wild also. For leveling, I wouldn't really take Incarnation unless you plan on doing a ton of PvP also. Then Incarnation might be actually a good thing. Incarnation is still not bad leveling. Honestly, none of these are bad for leveling. They all 3 can come into use. Galactic Guardian is not bad. I tend to go Soul of the Forest more just to build up rage, just because it builds up rage more. Galactic Guardian is not bad just because you get an automatic Moonfire, and it generates some rage and does some more damage for your next one. So that's always good. Incarnation just lets you, gives you Berserk for 30 seconds. Your Mangle now is an AoE, which is always good. And, increases maximum health by 30%. So yeah, this can come into play also, especially if you're pulling a larger pack of things. This definitely comes into play. Out of these 2, honestly, I almost always go Survival, just because it brings my bark skin and survival instincts closer down further. So, which is why I tend to go. You'll see some people suggest Earth Warden. I've tried it off and on. Yeah, it's okay. I just still find more use for this as a Guardian. Then you'll see most guys will go either Rend and Tear or Tooth and Claw. I tend to go Rend and Tear more just because I use Thrash more. So, so anything that helps reduce damage to myself and increases damage to the opponent is good. So that's why I tend to do Rend and Tear way more than I do Tooth and Claw. So those are the talents. Those are really the talents for leveling and for world quests. Nice thing about Guardian Druid is these really are not going to change that much. Between world quests, the leveling, and even PvP. So if you look at, let's look at Wowhead here. Pull this up. So yeah, so for Guardian, this is what they suggest for Wowhead. As you can see, the biggest thing they've got Galactic Guardian, and they've got Heart of the Wild. But even in their explanations, it's not that bad. Icy Veins, they change up. The Icy Veins actually suggest Tooth and Claw more. If you look at, let me bring up. Shit. Let's see. Let me bring up something over here. Give me 1 second. So this is PvP Leaderboard. I use this a lot for just to get an idea of what other guys are doing for their the guys are doing like arenas 2v2, 3v3. So you'll see here Brambles is the heavy one. Renewal, Wild Charge still wins, but Renewal is not bad. Resto, you'll see most people do Resto. And as a Guardian doing PvP, I would still probably stick with Resto also. I know I said Feral, but I really don't think this. If you're doing Feral, doing Guardian is good. Doing Guardian and doing Feral, then Mighty Bash. Incarnation is definitely more up there. Just because of the AoE stuff, plus the added health. You'll see Survival of the Fittest. The Earth Wardens got a decent percentage of people. And then you've got Rend and Tear. Is a little bit more than... actually, Rend and Tear is way above everybody else as far as PvP goes. So... But there's that as far as talents go. As far as the PvP... the PvE, role quests, and dungeons, and it really doesn't change that much from dungeons. I mean, if we pull it up, and let's go Wowhead, classes, Druid, Guardian, on what they suggest on talents. As far as, and most of their stuff is for Mythic Plus, is for PvE and for Mythic Plus. So you see, they really don't change. Like, they're going more Soul of the Forest. I think just because of this is the beginner talents that they suggest. Then scroll down. I thought they had more. Just kind of looking here. Because they should have had something a little bit more for dungeons. Let's go to Icy Veins. There'll be a little bit more. Icy Veins is a little bit more into of what you ought to be picking for everything. So, but like this is mainly for your dungeons and things like that. So you see, they go Brambles, still no change really. Still no change. Heart of the Wild, possibly. And I can see why, especially for PvE, for Dungeons and Mythic Plus and raiding, why Heart of the Wild would be more, because you can pop it on boss fights. You see Incarnation being used more, but Galactic Guardian's still not bad. They go more Earth Warden for those, so I can definitely see why. You know, just because when you direct damage with Thrash, you gain the charge of Earth Warden, reduce damage of next auto attack you take by 30%. So yeah, I can definitely see that. And then Rend and Tear and Pulverize. So you got a little bit of a difference with the PvE side, with as far as going into dungeons and Mythic Plus and things like that. For PvP, on the other hand, actually we just went over the PvP. You know, went over. That you're looking at here of. It's not that big of a change from. Honestly, this is what Draj has. Is Brambles, Wild Charge, Resto, Mighty Bash, Incarnation, Survival, Rend. I find for PvP, for my Guardian, these definitely play more in. These are the PvP talents I like also. Mainly that reducing stun effects is always good for PvP. Din Mother, bolstering my health of my friends, always good. And reducing damage on my friends, always good. So, as far as like what these guys do, honestly, a lot of the same thing. You got Maloran's Swiftness coming up a little bit, so that's not bad. I kind of like. I wish Alpha Challenge was used a little more, just because it would give a reason to use Growl, which would be kind of nice. But it is what it is. I don't find Alpha Charge is enough to warrant not having these three. So, which is why I have these three. So, let's see what else to show here as far as Guardians go. Stats. PvE. Item level is always king. Is always first. So, but after that, for PvE and PvP is versatility. Versatility is king as far as secondary stats go, as far as the Guardian Druid. For your second stats, you are for after versatility, it changes a little bit. So let's get here. So it is, and it doesn't change a whole lot, because for PvE, Mastery and Haste are kind of interchangeable, though Mastery is probably a little bit higher, but not much higher. And then Crit is last for all of them. For PvP, it's Versatility, Mastery, Versatility. Haste is a little bit more important, then Mastery, then Crit. Like on the PvP side of things, if you go here, you'll see their stats. You'll see the average player or max players. Haste is definitely, it's not as interlinked like the PvE side of things are. You want more haste than mastery. But it's decently close. Though mastery and critical strike on the average player is here, but as you see here, they're decently close. But it's still versatility, haste, mastery, then crit for PvP, and you can pretty much have those same things for PvE, which is kind of nice for one of the things that when you're leveling, I highly suggest is for every level, every day, do some of the PvP BG battlegrounds. You just want to, and here's my reasoning why. These will be my closing statements. While you're leveling, do the PvP every day. Do between 2 to 4 if you really don't like Battlegrounds. And plus, you're not getting a whole lot of level. So doing just doing PvP, yes, you will level just doing PvP, but it will be slow. So what I highly suggest is just do your basic stuff, leveling, and then just do PvP. The reason why is so you'll have a big cache of honor at the end. So you hit 60, you've got this huge cache of honor at the end, and you can take that honor and go to the PvP vendor who's next to, let me pull up the map here, Shadowlands, Orbis, who is right here in the Enclave, and you can buy PvP gear because you'll be able to buy that way faster than you can gain it in PvE. And a lot of players are doing this. And if you got this big cache of honor, you can get a full set of 158 everything. That's from weapon, armor, rings, trinkets, necklace, everything. You'll probably need between, I think, 10k and 13k. 13k I think is too much. 13k actually lets you upgrade. So you'll get your 158, and then one of the guys next to him, starting from the left, the third guy, you'll be able to upgrade your gear. And so then you'll be able to upgrade some of those pieces. And you can upgrade up to a certain point till Renown 7. And then from there, you won't be able to upgrade again until Renown 22. And I think the highest you can upgrade to is 194. But while you're doing PvP, you're gaining honor. But every day there's a daily. For if all you do is the random battlegrounds, random epic battlegrounds, there's a daily. That daily gives you anima, a little bit of anima, gives you honor, but it also gives you conquest points. The conquest points you can then buy 200 item level. So like Draj has, I believe, 3 pieces of conquest gear on right now. But since I don't do rated, I can't upgrade those. You got to do rated to upgrade these. Because you got to become a contender, I think. But yeah, he's got, I think, 3 pieces. Because I got 1 trinket, 1 ring, and I think I've got a pair of boots. So that's my only piece of PvE gear on him right now, and that's just because that is so much higher than my other stuff. So, and it had high versatility, so I put it on. That's what I used for my legendary. I think a lot of other guys do pants, but I liked the effects of thick hide, astral influence, and feline swiftness. And Sarah's gifts are increased by 75%, just because of how I play. I actually like that legendary ability. Then everything else is like 190 or 184. So they've all got upgrades to still do, but yeah. So like I'm at item level 190, and I've not done any major content. All I've done is PvP, so not bad. But yeah. But because of how a Guardian Druid is, you can take that PvP gear and be perfectly fine going into doing a dungeon with no trouble whatsoever. So, heck, you probably can even do some heroics with this stuff. I mean, the only downside of the PvP gear is there is no set bonuses, where the gear that you'll get from your PvE, like for Druids' Oakheart, all have set bonuses. So you'll get these pieces. The problem with these pieces, not problem, but the difference is these upgrade with anima. So everything in this game uses anima for the most part. So you might be a little short on anima at times. But these at least have good set bonuses. Your spells abilities have a low chance to summon a Fey Guardian. But that's the major difference between the PvP gear and the PvE gear, is just the set bonuses. But all these you can upgrade, and they upgrade. Now the thing with these is they will upgrade higher because of it's tied into renown. But I'm not sure if actually no, this might just go up to a certain point up to like renown 22. I really haven't delved that much into the PvE gear, but just because my PvP gear is already high, and I do more PvP than I do PvE. So, but I have it just so I can do that. But because I've been playing somebody else, it's not been. I haven't done a whole. I've got way more honor than I've had anima. But on that note, that's pretty much it. If you got any questions, please feel free. Like I said, this was a very basic, casual guide to playing the Guardian Druid. Playing them in PvP, you want to be more of a harasser. You know, harass the healers, interrupt them. Stay on flags, stay on the banners using swipe and maul. Not maul. Swipe and thrash, which are your AoE effects, which, is affecting everybody, keeping guys from capping stuff. They can be done in Guardian. They can be done in PvP. You don't see a lot of guides for PvP. But they can be done that. They can be done. I've had plenty of fun with them. They can be flag carriers. They're not as good as demon hunters, but they're still good because it's hard to kill them once they go into bear form. And all you're trying to do is get to the other side of your team and then going back into stag form, or if you're lucky, you got dash up and you zoom through them. I tend to do feral more and have Guardian Affinity. So I'm still decently unkillable, though I can be killed. Survivability is a little bit more, but it's a little bit easier. But it's like my health pool. My health pool is 46k right now. So I tend to, if I do PvP, I do that. I do feral with Guardian Affinity, and everything else I do Guardian with Resto Affinity. So, but yeah, that will be the video, and hope you all have a great rest of the day, and I'm hoping to get one of these out a week. So the next one will probably be Druid Feral. Will probably be my next video. But thank you all, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye. Oh, actually, if you've seen this on YouTube, if you give the channel a subscribe and the video a like, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're seeing this on Facebook, if you give the page a like and the video a like, I'd greatly appreciate it also. But hope you guys have a great day, and bye.